I think we should welcome our guest, man. We got Adam, who is a managing partner at WW Ventures. Welcome to the show, Adam. Thank you for being here. We're
Hello,
the we're
guys.
the we're the Beard Brothers over here, man. We're
Yeah,
the
Welcome
we're
to the
all
show, my
bearded up.
friend.
Everyone that works for me has to have a beard, or they can't
Listen,
be in the company.
it's the new trend, right?
I
You
love that
gotta
word.
gotta rock the beards, especially during the bear market. I think somebody
I could
changed it.
never like clean cut. I don't understand how people kind of like shave it
Yeah,
completely. So I don't know.
I'm the same way, man.
it's difficult to manage. I'm not gonna lie, especially
Oh,
when
I'm
you're so
happy to
busy.
be here, guys. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Of course,
Of
man.
course.
It's great to have you here. I was looking at you guys' website, and you guys got your hands in a little bit of everything, which is really awesome. Um, but yeah, Adam, if you wouldn't mind, usually the way we start when we have a conversation with our guests is, we like to get a little bit of background, where you come from, how you got into crypto. Um, I like to call it the people behind the projects, right? So
Yeah,
if you wouldn't mind giving us a little bit of background on how you got to this point, and
sure.
how you came to be a managing partner at WW Ventures, we'd love to hear your story, man.
Yeah, awesome. Happy to share it. And again, thank you guys for kind of inviting me to chill with you guys today.
Absolutely.
Um, I'd kind of start from maybe 2015. Back then, I was a commercial real estate agent in Los Angeles,
Nice.
and a friend kind of recommended me to take a. This is after years of doing a lot of different stuff in investments and sales and software sales and so on.
Sure.
A friend kind of recommended me to take a look into Bitcoin, and I did. I did some research, not a lot, but I did purchase. And from there, you guys know the normal story. I left what I was doing. I moved back to Israel because I'm from Israel, and I started advising one of the biggest banks in Israel how to implement blockchain crypto in the banking system.
Oh, wow.
From there, I got into investment banking. So that was very interesting kind of period of time. That was 2000, early 2017, 2018. Took a lot of different projects on roadshows, mainly to Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Beijing, which was my route. And I got to meet a lot of people in that part of Asia, a lot of the leaders in that part of Asia, projects, and so on. And throughout the years, I've been investing in early stage projects, uh, participating in a lot of different communities. One of those communities is called WWG, which is a community of cryptocurrency traders and investors, which I just joined, just to get some alpha, to be honest.
Nice.
And that's where I met my partner, John, who's kind of an influencer in the industry. And me and John started investing together in early stage projects. As we were doing that, some people from the community reached out to us. Happens to be some of the biggest kind of gamers and content creators in the world. And we started investing with them. So we started kind of doing more SPVs, so special purpose vehicles to invest in different projects. And when that became kind of too much, we decided to create a VC where all these guys are LPs. We just raised $15 million this year. So we're kind of a small boutique VC.
Yeah.
And our kind of core vision and mission is to help our portfolio projects with what we like to call social capital.
Sure.
And so helping them build strong, long-lasting communities. And so that's kind of a short, brief 8 years over there, 7.
I mean, I love these types of organic stories. Half the time these stories resonate quite well with mine. Similar route, engineer originally, eventually was in Wall Street for a little while. And then things change once you sort of go down the rabbit hole, right? The proverbial rabbit hole. It comes up every time we have a guest like yourself, who's gone through this. Now, the cool thing about, you guys, and, I had the privilege of having a chat with you before, is that you have some formidable names as a part of your LPs, right? Do you mind sharing some of that so that, well, I mean, we're on Twitch. I felt like the least we can do is talk about some of the guys that are backing your fund. So,
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, for sure. So I'd say one of the first of all, first guys that joined and was kind of very cool to work with is Fresh, Mr.
Sure.
Fresh Asian, Twitch ambassador, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah.
whatever it's called, one of the biggest
Yeah.
gamers in the world. And then Lachlan, Laserbeam, also some of the biggest gamers in the world. Mr. Beast and his fund joined. A lot of German gamers like Brox, Rewin, Standard Skills, Tobias Harris from the NBA, Trent Alexander from Liverpool, Michael Bisping, former UFC champion, and there's a few more. So
some huge names.
Quite a
right there,
yeah,
is
some
a
huge
roster,
names.
I would say, right?
It's quite a lineup, yeah, and it's all of them are just great guys, to be honest. Every one of them.
And like, do they actively help you guys out, or are you guys kind of managing, the mandate on behalf of them? Like, how does that work? Because there's different types of VCs that we've seen and talked to in the past. Some of the guys that just put in the money and let the VC experts do it. But I feel like in your case, your LPs actually have quite a good amount of reach. They have the ability to make impact. You mentioned social capital as well, right? How involved are they? Just so our audience knows.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's something that people ask me almost every day when we have calls with projects and so on. I'd say it depends on the timing. Obviously, when bull market hits, everybody wants to be involved.
Sure.
Everybody wants to do something and so on. But most of the guys, so for example, Tobias from the 76ers, he really wants to be known as someone that's an expert or knows a lot about crypto and so on. So he asked me to keep him involved. We'll have calls with him every probably 2 months or so. Go over the market, explain a little bit, tell him about the projects. And he wants to get involved. He's already been doing some stuff with some of our projects. Michael Bisping also, super nice guy, so funny. Also wants to get involved. So we got him involved with a few of our projects, and the gamers, some of them are more, some of them are less. It's hard when they have 20 or 30 or 40 million followers.
Right.
They're not as likely to kind of shill a project or share it on social media.
Right.
So when they're smaller, it's easier.
Sure. No, I mean, it makes sense. And again, it's a very interesting group versus the traditional VC sort of setups that we've seen. Absolutely. That's why I wanted to ask. I guess if we change gears just a little bit, I am of the camp that I believe that we are in a bear market already. I think there are people out there who still say, hey, we're not there yet. We don't know if we're going to be in bear market. I don't know. I kind of wanted to get your take on what you see right now. How is the investing scene? Do you see a lot of capital being deployed? What are the types of things that you guys are looking at? Are you aggressive in deploying capital now that valuations are lower, or are you waiting? Just to give a sense to the people out there that may be listening who want to build projects, right? What do you feel in terms of timing as of today?
Yeah. So I share the same opinion as you. I know we're in a bear market. So I feel the world is in a very unknown place. We won't go and get into politics right now and what's going on all around the world, but it's in a very weird, strange place. We don't know basically what's going to happen next week. But for sure, there's some sort of financial crisis coming our way, or is already here. Now, it's not a bad time to actually be investing and starting a business, to be honest. 100%. It just means that you have to understand where you're at and build it accordingly. It's no longer, I have a pitch deck, give me $5 million and I might build it or might not.
Sure.
So that's my kind of opinion, just a very brief opinion about where we're at with the market, and we can discuss it further if you'd like. But as far as deploying capital, I feel that we took it very, very careful over the last year. Intentionally, from the beginning of the year, we said we're not going to deploy a lot. So we only from the fund invested around 6 projects, where normally we would try to do probably 30 to 40. And so I think that the time to invest, at least in crypto, and not talking about normal markets, is probably 2024, 2023, and 24. And hey, I wish, I really wish that we're going to have a bull market 25, 26 or something like that.
No, that's a great take. The reason why I say this is because there is an argument that you can make that, back in 2018, Ethereum was at $60, right? I remember seeing 60s, 70s, 100, whatever, and we're still around 1400. And, people are, finally sort of showing some pessimism now. And I feel like, look, these are cycles. This is where you actually identify teams and products that are being built that are serious about their roadmap. And, from a investing perspective, everybody's super careful, super slow in deploying capital, but there aren't as much noise. At the height of the bull market, everybody had a pitch deck, everybody was raising unreasonable amounts of money, and not everybody had real roadmaps. So that's great to hear.
100%.
Yeah,
I'm very bullish, by the way. Just so I'm like extremely bullish on the whole industry. That's
yes, of course.
I'm very happy and feel very fortunate to be in a position where we have capital aside and to deploy over the next 2 years.
I guess a sort of question for more the retail viewers, right? I get this question a lot. I would love to hear your answer to this. So, the biggest arguments against crypto or Web3 assets in general is, bro, something that can go up 10x and then come down 95% cannot be an asset that I'm willing to hold, or I can't hold it because, I may be able to buy my food with it today, but tomorrow I may not be able to do that, right? And obviously that just shows sort of that the industry isn't mature yet. But I am firmly of the camp that the industry will eventually mature. But I honestly don't know when. I would love to get your opinion on when you think that will happen. Obviously, traditional assets like currencies, they have volatility as well, but it's orders of magnitude less even now, right? Euro and dollar are about par now, but that represents what, like 10% of change over the course of, however long. Like, when do you think the crypto industry is going to be, maturing?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'm definitely not the economist, okay, but I do have my own opinions on that. I think that in general, market cap has a lot to do with it. So let's take an example of a 3 trillion market cap that we just got to in this last bull market. 2 trillion goes, 70% of the market goes down, and the 70 to 90% lost value in all tokens. If we get to $10 trillion and then 2 trillion wipes out, that's only going to be 20%. And so it's still a very, very young asset. It's still very early. We're new tech. It's not only new tech, currency. Why is there cryptocurrencies incentivize communities and incentivize users to be a part of the economy, right? Mostly that's the reason to have a token, to incentivize your users and to have them be a part of deciding on a project or deciding where it's going and having those kind of rights. So it's a combination of very early and new tech and not enough money in the market and the people and a lot of people controlling big parts of the money. So
I guess in a sense, while the industry is somewhat decentralized, given the amount of capital that exists in the system, it's not decentralized enough.
What's your opinion? Yeah.
My opinion is very much aligned. The biggest thing that, like, if I look at it just from volatility and markets perspective, traditional assets, TradFi assets, are less volatile, primarily because there are a lot more market makers and there is a lot of credit in the system. Think of it this way, right? There are banks out there, like just knowing FX, my background is FX, right? There are banks out there who are constantly making two-way markets with trillions of dollars in balance sheet that they can back up these prices with. So moving an FX market is a complete different ballgame than moving a small to mid-cap crypto asset. Does that make sense? Like, these guys actually have enough capital to back the prices that they're producing, and they don't move around their price bands as much. Of course, there is big events, I don't know, economic releases, they go wider and they'll move prices around. but it's a different ballgame. And the reason why the market is able to grow to that level is because they extend credit to their clients. Right now, there's a lot of institutional clients, whether these are asset managers or hedge funds, etc., who can't use their credit facilities, which is how most businesses do their financial activity, to trade crypto. Of course, there are some services, but they're not to the scale of the big banks that have extended credit to all the big global corporations. So I feel like those pieces of infrastructure are still being built. It just takes a long time for that infrastructure to be here, regulation to come, and enable that infrastructure for people to use. So I feel like we're still a minimum 5 years away from, switching from 90% volatility cycle to cycle to, I don't know, 50% volatility. Quite frankly, I'm sure there are people out there who will slaughter me, because Tesla, as a traditional asset, can go up and down 70%, 80% as well. But I'm talking about the market as a whole. So that's kind of my view. At least 5 years. I see Jimmy ready to press a button.
Yeah, because you guys are dropping so much knowledge. It's the I gotta give you a knowledge air horn over there, man.
Yeah.
This is you guys are going nuts.
Firestorm
the chat is noticing too, by the way.
Yeah, Firestorm knows his shit. It's good to hear for someone.
I'm a nerd. Once I get my sort of hands onto something, I try to learn it enough that I can connect it to the big picture. And this was one of the big rewards of working at a TradFi institution that's as large as it was, and that had facilities as many as that they had. Anyways, I feel like we went off topic a little bit. Why don't you talk about the mandate of WW Ventures? What excites you the most? What types of deals you guys are looking at? Is there any projects that you would like to mention that excites you today? Our audience, I'm sure, would love to hear that.
Yeah, for sure. The mandate, we're pretty agnostic. We'll look at everything. I really like infrastructure and tooling. I think we still need a lot of infrastructure in order to, and as you mentioned, in order to kind of have this being a real asset, there's still a lot of infrastructure to go into it. But we're agnostic. Infrastructure, tooling, metaverse and gaming, DeFi more oriented towards retail or institutions, but not like just DeFi for degens, because I don't think we just don't like to invest in that. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, and I'll tell you guys the honest truth, what gets me excited is just speaking to entrepreneurs all day. I like it. I enjoy it. It's fun speaking to them. Sometimes it's not as fun, but when you really speak to someone that's knowledgeable and is passionate and it's fun. And also, I mean, it's really an opportunity, not only to make money and a lot of it, but to be a part of something really cool, like basically the Web3. Actually, I really believe in it. We're going towards a new internet.
Yes.
And so it's really cool to be at the forefront. I feel very fortunate to be at the forefront. So the mandate is investing pretty agnostically, but we're pretty bullish on I'd say scaling solutions on Ethereum. We feel that Ethereum is still going to lead the way over the next years, probably. And we feel that scaling solutions on Ethereum are going to lead the way, and other L1s also. I know we're on the Avalanche podcast, so obviously Avalanche. Shout out to Avalanche. No, but we were at the Barcelona event. It was awesome, really amazing event. We really enjoyed that. There's other, we can get into the move ecosystem, even though we don't have to, but Aptos Sui is very hyped. I think Sui is...
Aptos is going live now, right? I think the token has been listed, if I'm correct.
Has it been listed? Does it have a price already?
I saw some tweets, people complaining about not being able to deposit their tokens into Binance. Listen, centralized exchanges, right? But anyways,
I mean, you're touching on something that's like so key though, because that is the one thing, as someone who is like pretty new to crypto, one of the things that really grabbed me about just the community at large is everybody is so passionate and so excited about what they're doing. And so when you're talking to entrepreneurs all day, and it's great to talk to people who are passionate about what they do, who believe in what they're doing and have a vision, you know what I mean? And that's been the key for me. That's what I love about this space. And that's what, and I see it reflected in our chat right now too. So you're getting a lot of W's in the chat right now.
I mean,
yeah,
we're all very fortunate, I feel, to be in this industry, even through the ups and downs. You know, some of us here have been through a lot of downs and some great ups. But if you're fortunate enough to work in the industry or be able to stick around and stay, I think it will reward whoever is here. And there's so much opportunity in different areas.
Right.
Obviously for knowledge, but even to earn. So.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit it on the nail, right? Like the infrastructure, the very basic building blocks of things are missing. Obviously, exchanges have become prominent because the first thing that everybody wants to think about is exchanging their assets from asset A to asset B. But exchanges are only one of the earlier blocks in making this economy prevalent in every aspect of life, right? Nowadays I see a lot more payment rails, like systems that allow people to purchase these assets directly with a credit card without having to go through the centralized exchange route. And I feel like that's a big wave that's finally coming. And then there's so many things out there that we still haven't seen. It's so early. As you said earlier, I'm quite bullish. And like you said, if we stick around, which Dexalot is absolutely planning to, we'll see quite great days, even though it doesn't look like it now. That's what everybody feels. So I just want to say that.
I have to tell everyone or anyone that's listening that just stick around, because it comes back and comes back even bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the statement of the week, I would say.
Yes, it comes back, and really, whoever sticks around is early enough and does their research. And as far as I'm just talking about money and gaining or earning, there's so many ways, from being early to a protocol and participating as a community member, to obviously investing early stage projects or investing when the token comes out. Hell, a lot of the tokens that VCs invested in are below prices that VCs got in. So there's
absolutely, and everybody got those investments with vesting schedules.
Right.
So now, one idea is go look at VCs, WW Ventures, and see what they invested in, and maybe you have good opportunities to sort of piggyback on the due diligence that these guys are doing, right? Like there's so many names out there, like you said, that are pushing hard, and lots of projects out there that are still building. I think the bear market gave us the opportunity to identify who's gone, which projects were not truly real, and who's still around. So in that sense, fully agree with you.
I think another good piece of alpha could be to actually, like you mentioned, search what other VCs have been investing into. I'd say specifically probably A16 or Sequoia or some of the bigger VCs. They've deployed a lot of capital over the last 2 years, and identify what tokens are coming out of theirs, and probably try and be early in that, or try and be early in their communities to get airdrops or to get tokens before. So
yeah, absolutely. So one quick, I'm going to interject because it looks like we had a small technical issue. Please write the keyword again in the chat so that you'll be eligible. Looks like our bots didn't work as expected.
These bots, man. I'm telling you, these bots. When you trust a bot, look what happens. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, write the keyword is dip. Just as a reminder, write dip in the chat if you want to be qualified to win a Dexalot PFP. The keyword is dip.
With that, should we? I know we're we're already a little over on time when it comes to getting to our sections. But should we go to the hot seat section? Let's see what Adam.
I think it might be time. Yeah.
Yeah, you think so?
Adam, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to describe. So, we have this new section, which we called Hot Seat, where we sort of open it up for our guests to basically provide their unfiltered opinion on a topic that they choose that they would like to talk about. Zero filter, whatever you want to talk about. We would love to get your opinion on something. Obviously, I'd prefer it if it's something that can be argued, right?
A hot take, if you will.
You'll be the judge, a hot take. But we called it the hot seat section. If you're okay with that, would love to get a hot take from you. Does that work?
That can be argued. Wow. Okay.
Well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Like, yeah, if you have a controversial opinion you'd like to put out there, I mean, we're here for it. But no pressure. I'm just
we excel at.
That's why it's called the hot seat.
Yeah, we excel at devil's advocating. Let's call it. But I'm probably not going to be able to advocate against whatever you're about to say. But if it's okay with you, like, we'll change the frames, we'll put you on the hot seat, and would love to get your opinion on something that's
yeah, I mean, I could. There's not like something I can argue with you about stuff that I don't really believe in. I can say, I'm not sure if China is going to take over the world economy. Will they? Will they not?
Listen, if you want to argue that, let's do it. But first, one thing I want to do, Mr. Producer, if you can sort of set us up. Let's put Adam, let's say, in 3 seconds. Oh, there we go. Wow. All right, my good sir.
To be honest, I wanted to speak about something different, but we can do this one.
No, whatever you prefer. It's completely up to you.
You know what? I'd like to actually speak about something that's more dear to my heart than China. I don't really care about that subject. Who's going to control the economy? I'd say one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot, and specifically, when you work remote and work with a lot of different people remote, mental health comes to mind. Really, on a daily basis, I'm thinking about this: how to improve, what to do, how I can have my peers improve, or my partners, or whoever, friends even. And I feel that maybe it's not discussed enough, and it is. I mean, actually, it is. If you look for it, discussed a lot. But there's a lot of work to be done on a daily basis that everybody should be doing, that probably should be taught in school also, about how to take care of your mental health, meditate, in order to focus and stuff. And it relates to work, obviously, relates to everything in life. So that's kind of what's on my mind over the past year or so.
Yeah, I fully agree. And Mr. Producer, I'm switching back to my camera, just so you know. Fully agreed. It's near and dear to our heart as well. Particularly, I'll tell you my personal experience, right? Coming at this from a more than a decade worth of a very aggressive corporate job, I didn't realize that I was taking zero time to myself, zero sort of effort to make sure that I was mentally centered. I felt like I didn't have any issues, but I was tired all the time. I didn't feel good all the time. I had, I wasn't, working out. I wasn't sleeping enough. And, all of these things affect your mental state. So, we're pretty much aligned. I think at Dexalot, we are quite flexible. Our team is very flexible when it comes to, people needing to take time for themselves. And more importantly, I think Dexalot tries very hard, particularly our founders are big in this, very hard to make this environment very fun, dynamic, and flexible, right? Which I realize now when I compare it to previous experiences. But anyways, fully agree with you. Thank you for that take. Much appreciated.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much, Adam. And you're getting a ton of support in the chat as far as that, because I think everybody can agree. Everything's gone kind of crazy in the last couple of years. And, not to say that mental health wasn't important before the world went nuts, but I come from an industry before this. I worked in the radio business, and I can tell you that it was so demanding that, you know, I had to put on a show 6 nights a week. And when I wasn't on the radio, on the air, I was DJing at clubs, and was not taking care of my mental health at all. And that's one of the great things about working in crypto and working for Dexalot, is that they being treated like a human being. You know, there's a lot of industries out there that don't treat people like people, and so it's really nice to be on a team and be with a bunch of folks and share that perspective. So thank you so much for saying that, Adam. Really appreciate it.
100%. I think it's, you know, it's super important, and I'd say for everyone and anyone
Yes.
at any age, specifically when you're younger, to start dealing with it now and taking care of it and meditating and doing whatever you can physically, mentally, all that, because life is full of ups and downs. And when you're down, it's, if you're not mentally stable or you have the power, it can take you to dark places. So
It's true.
when you're older, it just gets worse. So as it's very important to take care of it, and I really think it should be, you know, speaking about more, and specifically at work and so on.
I absolutely agree, guys. You know what I find? This is my trick. I find if everything feels really bad, I either need a big glass of water or a nap. I'm like a little baby, you know what I mean? So, but all that being said, Adam, this has been awesome. Would you come back and talk to us again here in the club?
100%, guys. Yeah,
Thanks for
100%.
coming, man. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. We do some music right at the tail end of the show too. Is there anything? Tell you what, if you have a song request, just send it to our producer, John. He'll get me hooked up, and I'll throw it in the mix at the end of the show for you.
It sounds good, man. I'll send it to him right now, actually, when we get
I
out.
love it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Great seeing you again.
Adam
appreciate it,
from
guys.
WW Ventures, thank you for being here, and we'll definitely have you back on the show.
Thank you so much, guys. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed the conversation. Have a good day.
You as well.
Take care, man. Thanks so much.